From atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West, you are listening to the Liberty RoundTable Radio Talk Show.
All right. Happy to have you along, my fellow Americans. Sam Bushman live on your radio. Hard-hitting news the networks refuse to use, no doubt, starts now. This is the broadcast for July the 17th. In the year of our Lord, 2025, this is hour one of two, and the goal always to protect life, liberty, and property, to promote God, family, and country, and to do so on your radio in the traditions of our founding fathers. Yes, indeed, the checks and balances brilliantly put in place by the founders in the supreme law of the land, one of the peaceful, restorative solutions we the people still have at our fingertips. We reject revolution, stand for peaceful restoration of the greatest country on the face of the earth. Why? Because we follow the Prince of Peace. Yes, indeed, all kinds of news going on, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump has probably accomplished the greatest thing you could possibly imagine, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you right now, when we want to say we're making America great again, baby, we are making America great again. You say, Sam, what are you talking about? Donald Trump now says he has persuaded Coca-Cola to make Coke sugary again. Liz, are you ecstatic over this? Donald Trump has sat down with Coke. He's persuaded them to make Coke sugary again. Yeah, he says, I've been speaking to Coca-Cola about using real cane sugar in Coke in the United States, and they have agreed to do so. And they have agreed, so I'd like to thank all the leaders over there at Coca-Cola for doing a phenomenal job. He released the details on Truth Social. He says this will be a very good move by Coca-Cola, you'll see. It's just better, the Donald says. And then the problem with it all is the BBC reports that the company didn't confirm the change. But a spokesperson said they certainly appreciate President Trump's enthusiasm, and more details are coming. Yeah, we're going to have new innovative offerings and everything else with regards to our Coca-Cola offerings. And so, hey, you know, Coca-Cola already uses cane sugar in Mexico, so it looks like everything will become Mexican Coke once again. So I'm just telling you right now, if Donald wants accomplishments, baby, there they are. We're going to make Coke great again. Liz, aren't you just ecstatic about that? Aren't you just... Yeah, Liz thinks it's phenomenal. I'm just telling you right now, man, sugary Coke, cane sugar from the Gulf of America, baby. What do you think of that? Not only that, you're going to be playing football. It's going to be a different game than you expect, but hey, don't worry about anything like that. Changing the name of football, he's talking about that. Well, changing the name of soccer, you see, soccer needs to be called football. That's what it is around the world, so we're going to become globalists and jump in on the world deal. So we're going to change soccer to football. We're going to go ahead and put, Mexican Coke all across the United States. I actually think it's a good idea because I think that the cane sugar they put in place 40, 50 years ago is a lot, or not the cane sugar, sorry. The, what's that stuff called they put in all the soda pop now? My heavens, what's it called, Liz? It's liquid toxin. Oh, my gosh. I can't remember the name. I hate it when this happens to me because I'm all by myself. And I can't remember the name of it. Oh, corn syrup. Yeah, that's what it's called. They got corn syrup and everything under the sun, and it's bad, way worse for you than the cane sugar. I agree with President Trump. But I don't know why RFK Jr. is not getting the credit for this. But Donald's got to get the credit for everything. Because you got to understand, everything in this world is about Donald Trump. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's good, it's Donald. If it's bad, some other clown had to do it, right? Kind of an idea. Trump has got to start to realize that everything is not about him. And I literally did a video about this coming out here soon. Trump, everything is not about you, my friend. I know you think it is, but it isn't true. Everything is not about you. I know you think everything is, but it's not. For example, even Mike Pence now says the time has come to release all the Epstein files. You think? I've been saying that forever. In fact, Trump used to be saying that too. It's shocking that I agree with Mike Pence. Now, here's what's fascinating. Justice Department fires Maurene Comey She's the prosecutor on the Epstein and the Diddy cases. Oh, boy. Isn't that interesting? Because I find this so fascinating. This lady, James Comey, that's, former James Comey's daughter, right? And this guy was bad, and I think she's bad. And now we have her being fired. I wonder if that has to do with these Epstein files. But President Trump, in my opinion, went off the rails, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, he literally went crazy, attacking anyone who wants the truth on the Epstein files. Trump literally went so far as to say, I don't even want your support anymore. He called us stupid, idiots, etc. In your folder, there's a soundbite, Liz. Get ready to play that here in just a second. But Trump literally went crazy on the American people. I don't really understand why Trump would do this. I don't understand what his agenda is. He used to be for getting to the bottom of these things. Okay? So I actually wrote an article about this, which I'll get to in just a second. But let's listen to Donald Trump, and then we'll talk about the details here. Here's President Trump.
Mr. President, I know you want to move past all this intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your Attorney General told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you seen?
No, it's not the Attorney General. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. And it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net. And so they try and do the Democrats' work. The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes. They're bad for policy. They're bad for picking candidates that can get elected. Like in New York, we have a communist running. He may get elected too, actually, but he'll destroy the city. I call it the Epstein hoax. It takes a lot of time and effort. Instead of talking about the great achievements, we've had a great gentleman. Yesterday, as you know, went on CNBC and he made the statement that Trump may go down as the greatest president of all in the United States. And instead of talking about the things we've achieved, we've had tremendous achievement. They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died 3-4 years ago. I'd rather talk about the success we have with the economy, the best we've ever had, and all of the things we've done, including in the Middle East. I mean, you see it. Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people.
All right, I don't even know how to respond to the president on this because I really want to have a clarion call for civility. I really want to have a clarion call for civility, folks. So I don't know how to respond to this, but I will say this. President Trump, I know you think everything's about you, but it isn't, okay? We recognize a lot of your accomplishments. I literally talk about them daily. I can't do a single talk show without talking about the concerns I have on some of your actions and the positive news of many, many, many of your accomplishments, okay? So let's not pretend that somehow I'm a clown or that I'm stupid or that I'm an idiot or that I'm falling into the Democrats' narrative. Okay, Trump says Epstein files obsession distracts from his successes, writes UPI. He says their new scam is what we'll forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my supporters have bought into this hook, line, and sinker. He says bullshit or whatever. But I have a problem with this. It's not a Jeffrey Epstein hoax. This guy was a proven, convicted pedophile. Let's not pretend anything different, Donald. And this is where now you're getting so involved in propaganda, you're peddling fake news. Now, is there a Democrat hoax to pile on? Yes, there is. I'm sure there is. Okay, all the Democrats are for this. They have their own whatever reasons. There's a hoax for sure in that. But it isn't about Trump, and I wrote this article. It's coming out soon. This is not about Trump. It's about the monsters who got away. I want to come back and talk about that. Okay, that's really critical. It's about the monsters who got away. Think about that for a second. This is Liberty Roundtable Live.
If Planned Parenthood were what they publicly declare themselves to be, they would welcome transparency. We all know why they hide, because we know what they hide. We can confirm federal judges who follow the Constitution rather than reverse engineer their preferred policy outcomes. The truth about abortion is spreading because of advances in medical imaging, because of brave journalists, tireless activists, compassionate doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals. The rising generation of young Americans is the most pro-life in decades because they know too. And one day soon, we will reaffirm our nation's principles in their dignified fullness and avow once again that all men are created equal. All are entitled to life.
Do you know what is great about America? Ask an Immigrant. Ask an Immigrant is a new podcast dedicated to helping Americans, especially our youth, value, appreciate, and be grateful for the freedoms we have here in America. Join host Lydia Wallace-Nuttall as she interviews immigrants from around the world to discover their inspiring personal stories about why they came to America. To learn more about why America is the most prosperous, greatest country in the world, download the Loving Liberty app or go to lovingliberty.net.
In the medical field, IT security is crucial. Our highly skilled consultants are HIPAA certified and have 20-plus years of experience servicing medical clinics, billing, and supply companies. We offer comprehensive endpoint protection, guarding your computers and servers against all stages of threats. And with our 24/7 monitoring services, you'll never worry about extensive downtime again. Ready to level up your IT support? Call 801-706-6980 today and discover how great IT services can be with managed IT services.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, even former VP Mike Pence says the time has come to release all the Epstein files. I never thought I'd agree with Mike Pence on anything, but there you go. Justice Department fires Maurene Comey. She's the prosecutor on the Epstein and the Diddy cases. No wonder there's a big cover-up. James Comey's daughter, glad she's fired. It's not about Trump, it's about the monsters who got away. That's my article and video that I'm coming out with about this critical issue. Donald can call me stupid all he wants to, but at the end of the day, I'm saying, hey, man, I'll wear that as a badge of honor. Listen to me. It isn't about Donald, okay? It isn't about taking away from your successes. Donald Trump attacking all of us, saying that the Epstein files distraction, well, that's distracting from his success. Their new scam is for what we will call forever as the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. I don't know how to do this civilly, Brian. I just don't. To say those kind of things is absolutely dishonest, unfair, and manipulative. It isn't about Trump. It isn't even about Jeffrey Epstein. Jeff is dead. Whether he died by the government's hand or by a third-party hand or by, his own hand, I don't know. And frankly, at this point, I don't care. I mean, it would be good to have the truth, because every time we have this dishonesty from the government, oh, they released the video and now the video's doctored, we lose trust in government. That's a serious problem in and of itself. But look, it doesn't matter how he died. Let me tell you what matters. What matters? What about all the people that were involved with Jeffrey Epstein as their ringleader, giving him all kinds of money, supposedly so he could invest their money as an investment advisor, but he had no investment advisor experience whatsoever. Okay? And then this guy literally having this Lolita Express plane and this perversion island He's already a convicted sex offender, pedophile. They covered up and gave him a light sentence back in Florida in the day. Now Pam Bondi's in charge. James Comey's daughter was involved and in charge. And then they come out and say there's nothing to this. Listen to me very carefully. There is something to this. And let's say they don't have a list. Let's say it's true they don't. Fine. We can build one. It's very easy. All you got to do is start looking at Jeffrey Epstein's financial records and Jeffrey Epstein's and Ghislaine Maxwell's phone records, party lists, etc., and you can build a list. And we've already got a couple of names on the docket. Try Bill Clinton for starters. Hey, he lied and already claimed he wasn't on Lolita very often. Well, it turns out he was on there like 27 times, according to subpoenaed or FOIA records and everything else. Okay, all you got to do is start pulling on these individuals one at a time. Here's the real questions that need to be asked regarding this, Donald. And it isn't about you, buddy. I know you think everything's about you, but this time it isn't, okay? Just accept that for once, for a minute. And here's what it is. What about all these perverts that were involved with Jeffrey Epstein? Now that Jeff's gone, did they just go away and quit doing their bad deeds? Are they just gone now? It's like, oh, bad deeds are over. It's like druggies, drug addicts. Hey, our drug dealer's gone. I guess we're going straight now. You know, we just decided that there's no more drugs because, okay, these perverts are going to continue. Pizzagate has a strand of reality to it as well, by the way. And this Jeffrey Epstein and this Diddy thing going on at the same time, there's no accident about that. Were they tied together? Well, we can find out by following Diddy's records, by following Epstein's records, phone records, financial records. You can build a case against these people. I'm telling you right now, these people did not go away, and they did not stop doing whatever they're doing. They just got a new underground leader now. Okay? Don't believe for a second that all of a sudden, oh my gosh, all the perversions went away with Jeff. No, it's about the monsters that are continuing to get away with this and probably continuing to commit crimes. Bryan Rust with me. FreeWaterCoinCo.com. Bryan, what do you say about this? Am I making any sense?
You're making really good sense, Sam. I think the truth needs to be told. I agree, and I think that's what you've been preaching forever. Is let's just get to the truth of. There's so many things. I mean, we can go back years here, and you forever. There's so many things that we'd like to know the truth. And finally, we get some of that truth comes out, and it's irritating. It is, because the abuse and things that go on, the spending. And here's one more thing. I mean, here's a group that is not a good group. And even if there's those that claim that, well, I was innocent type thing, but association, if you're going over there's some association involved in it, and your name's going to be on that list probably, and so on. But so your choices probably weren't the best even if you didn't do anything. But a majority, like you say, I mean, if Clinton's over there 30 something times, yeah, probably one of the bad guys, and that's what it is. And I think the people have a right to know, and we need to. If somebody dies.
You can find the records about rape and women who are willing to testify and everything else about Bill Clinton, even without Jeff.
Yeah.
But if you add Jeff into the mix, it gets worse in a hurry. This is what I mean. It's not about Jeff or about dead people or about Donald or about the Republicans or the Democrats or whatever you want to say. It's about honesty. And why is Trump creating a distraction about this? Why is Trump now digging in against us all and acting like somehow it's my fault that we didn't go after these perverts and stop them already? Why isn't this already done? Why don't we already have prosecutions? Trump, you've been in office 4 years. Now you're into your 7th month of this time. Okay, why isn't this already basically been prosecuted and put to bed? Pardon the pun, Bryan.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Sam. I think that needs to happen. And I think, like you mentioned, if the drug addict needs it, he's going to find it somewhere else. And as Epstein's gone, probably somebody else is going to take the reign and say, well, hey, they made a lot of money over there. I'm going to start doing something like that. I mean, we just need to stop it wholeheartedly.
All right. Anyway, I just find it very fascinating. And I have a problem with it because, to me, I don't even know that I'm a expert at investigations. But I can tell them how they should investigate this thing. Just follow the money.
Yeah, that's
put
right.
people on the put people on the stand, subpoena records, make people swear under oath. Okay, these accusing women, make them swear under oath the who's who. Have them give you times and dates and places. Match phone records to those times and dates and places. Match flight logs to those times, dates, and places. Match they say they have hours and hours of kiddie porn video that nobody should watch. Fine. Somebody, though, can use AI. Hire Elon Musk to go ahead and dig into those so many hours of porn nobody can dare watch it and have them plumb the minutes that matter, so to speak. Hire Elon on that. He did great at Doge. Let him go ahead and dig. Okay, there's a gazillion ways to skin this cat, Brian, and I'm just a redneck. What do I know? But I mean, think about what I'm saying. Is there truth to what I'm saying? These things can be done, right?
You're not a redneck. You're right on.
Yeah, derelict Sam there on the radio trying to think he knows what's going on. I'm just saying, hey, why don't we create a third-party investigative team? Why don't we dig into this one name by one name? Let's be transparent. Let's be independent. Bill Clinton. You've already been convicted because you lied to Congress and you lied to the American people and you got impeached over it. Right?
Yeah.
So we know that's the starting point. Can't you start with that list? Hey, how many women said that he raped them or that he, whatever. Fine. Stack them up. Put them on the stand. Let's match phone records. Let's match bank records. Let's match payments. Let's match. Fine. Let's go.
Yeah.
Where's the Me Too movement, Brian? Where are those people?
You're right, Sam. I think you've hit it. Unfortunately, I think we'd see a lot of the same reaction like Jill Biden pleads the fifth. I think you'd see a lot of that. So, but I agree.
We're all saying Me Too now, right? I want to get to the bottom of this thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, I don't mean to keep going about it forever, but it's so maddening. And then this guy, literally, the president of the United States, is calling me stupid and an idiot, and I've become the problem, the distraction, and it's a Jeffrey Epstein hoax. So was his prosecution for being a pedophile a hoax? Was his death in his cell a hoax? What about all the women that are suffering and willing to testify and speaking out and angry because they've become victims? Are they all just a hoax?
I don't believe so.
Anyway, I don't mean to be rude, but I don't know why Donald's doing this. Why would he do this? Is he that self-centered to think it's about him? Or does he have something else to cover up and hide or manipulate or whatever? Why would President Trump do this? I don't get it. I just don't understand it.
Well, it seems like maybe there is something to hide. That tends to be why you don't want it to show its face.
I mean, he's single-handedly running this charge. Even Pam says, I want to look into and get the truth. And I mean, everybody now, even Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. You've even got Mike Pence, former VP that's against Trump on everything, saying we got to get to the bottom of this. You've got Charlie Kirk and Sam Bushman, and you've got literally everybody saying this has to be dealt with. And Donald's going, no, you guys are all buffoons. You guys are all a bunch of idiots. You guys are all playing the game of the Democrats. It's a big old hoax. You don't even know what you're talking about anymore. How dare you? Do you realize how many successes I have? Okay, I don't know if you know, but Donald Trump met with Coca-Cola Company, and now he's going to make Coke great again. He's going to bring back cane sugar Coke. We're going to have Mexican Cokes in America by default coming up. Well, Donald Trump says that's the case, but the BBC reports that the company didn't really confirm the change, but they're delighted about Donald Trump's optimism. What the heck, man? Are we going to have, true sugarcane Coke or not? Just can't know yet, but Donald says so it'll probably be true, right? That's more important than the Epstein files. You cool with that, Brian?
There you go. I'm cool.
All right. When we come back, let's get gold and silver and get some updates on some, in my opinion, more, what do you want to call it? Hard-hitting news, shall we? You got Bryan Rust with me, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about freewatercoinco.com. You've got a partner when it comes to precious metals. Take advantage of the incredible 3-generational 50 years of wisdom. Get involved. freewatercoinco.com. You're listening to Liberty Roundtable Live.
How would you like to help this program reach more people and earn silver at the same time? Call or text 801-669-2211 for complete details.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The Senate has approved President Trump's request to cancel roughly $9 billion in foreign aid and spending on public broadcasting. That 51-48 vote came very early this morning. Senate Majority Leader John Thune acknowledges that $9 billion really is small potatoes in the federal scheme of things.
I appreciate all the work the administration has done in identifying wasteful spending. And now it's time for the Senate to do its part to cut some of that waste out of the budget. It's a small but important step toward fiscal sanity that we all should be able to agree is long overdue.
The House is the next stop for the bill. It has to be signed into law by midnight Friday. Otherwise, the spending will stand. Former FBI Director James Comey's daughter, prosecutor Maurene Comey, has reportedly been fired by the Department of Justice. That, according to two individuals familiar with the case. They spoke with the AP. Maurene Comey prosecuted some high-profile cases, including the Jeffrey Epstein matter. President Trump insists that he has no plans to fire Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell.
The president responded to media reports that he's ready to remove Powell from his job.
No, we're not planning on doing anything.
But he continued to attack Powell for not lowering interest rates.
He's a terrible Fed chair. I was surprised he was appointed.
It was Donald Trump who appointed Powell to be Fed chair in 2017. He was reappointed by Joe Biden. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The number of Americans filing for jobless benefits fell last week to the lowest level in 3 months. Jobless claims for the week ending July 12th dropped 7,000 to 221,000. And watching Wall Street, stocks higher this morning. The Dow's up 209 points. The Nasdaq ahead 83. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-226-5454. That's 800-226-5454. 800-226-5454.
Experience the untamed spirit of the American West with Range Magazine. Each issue is a visual journey featuring award-winning photography and compelling stories that capture the heart of ranching and rural life. Stay informed on the challenges and triumphs of those who live and work on the land. Subscribe today and receive quarterly editions delivered to your doorstep, and join a community that cherishes the enduring legacy of the Western frontier. Visit rangemagazine.com to subscribe.
Are you ready to stand up for your community and support your local sheriff? Join the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association and become a vital member of the Sheriff's Citizens Posse. At cspoa.org, we empower citizens like you through weekly webinars, arming you with the knowledge to back your constitutional county sheriff. Together, we can uphold our Constitution and ensure liberty and justice for all. Your community needs you now more than ever.
As a parent, is receiving a faith-based, character-focused education for your children difficult to find? Do you believe that godly principles should be a central component in your child's education? Imagine a school where faith and integrity are at its center, where heritage and responsibility instill character. For over 40 years, American Heritage School has been educating both hearts and minds, bringing out academic excellence. This is the school where character and embracing the providence of a living God are fundamental, where students' national test scores average near the 90th percentile. With American Heritage School's Advanced Distance Education Program, distance is no longer an issue. With an accredited LDS-oriented curriculum from kindergarten through 12th grade, your children can attend from anywhere in the world. American Heritage School will prepare your child for more than a job. It will prepare them for life. To learn more, visit American-Heritage.org. That's American-Heritage.org.
Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty RoundTable Radio Talk Show.
All right, back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. Bryan Rust, freewaterco.com with me. It is the Honest Money Report. Where's gold and silver, sir?
Gold is $3,325.95.
All right, let's see. What percentage is that?
Well, percentage from where it was last week?
Well, not gold to silver, right?
Oh, the ratio is about 88 to 1.
All right, so it's below 90 finally a little bit. That's good news to some degree.
Yeah.
All right, so gold's at what, 325?
33.25.
Oh, 33.25.
Yep,
Silver?
0.95. Silver's 37.78.
Wow, silver's up there. Can you get a Silver Eagle silver dollar for $40 still or more?
It's going to run you a little more.
Oh, shoot.
Than that. Silver actually hit, I think, last Monday, it was hit the 39 level.
Whoa. All right.
Yeah.
Do you expect it to continue to be sustained there? Are we going to see a dip?
No, I think we're going to see, should see silver, the increase. Right now, the talk is that we should have more silver. Some of the things I've read or, and involved in, it's a no-brainer. Price inflation creeping higher in June. Chances are that the Fed will hold the interest rate. So we're pointing out that while tariffs can certainly raise prices, they don't cause inflation. So, silver's touched the $39 thing, and the ratio based on these ratios and supply-demand dynamics and technical pattern, the push is that we'll see silver increase. I mean, most of the demand has been industrial, but now we're starting to see investors start to really kind of jump in instead of sitting on the sideline. They're starting to shift, so that will drive prices.
All right, well, CNBC's Rick Santelli, he's the editor, reported that June wholesale inflation remains flat and below expectations, reinforcing that President Trump's tariffs are having minimal inflationary impact despite early media warnings. That's good news. Do you think it'll hold?
Yeah. Obviously they're blaming him, the tariffs. They're blaming him for everything as far as based on, they're using the tariffs to blame him, is what I'm saying. And as I pointed out, the tariffs they don't cause inflation. Things like expansion of money and credit. Those are the things that drive cause inflation. So yeah, I think so far, the extreme waste of money is and we're seeing it, and now we're bringing it to our attention, all the abuse and the money, and we've probably seen that over the years, but now it's out there in front of us, and I think when people are sitting at home and the cost of living is higher and they can't, even perhaps pay rent, it kind of falls to the government. And what are you doing? And maybe, you look at the fight between, as you mentioned, with Powell. That $2.5 billion renovation of the headquarters. Some people are, probably not too happy with that, simply because, look, I can't pay my rent, but yet you can spend another 2.5 over. Anyway,
now Donald's in a big battle with Jerome Powell over that. Donald is playing the blame game as well. You've got the Democrats and the liberals in the media blaming Donald for tariffs, saying it's going to be crazy inflation. Turns out so far not to be correct. But then Donald taking the blame and going, yeah, that Jerome Powell, we got to get rid of that guy. He won't lower interest rates. I don't agree that interest rates should be propped up, but I don't really agree the government should be involved in interest rates in the first place. But President Trump was in a private meeting with Republican leadership, and he showed a draft letter for firing Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Okay? And he asked them if he should proceed. In other words, hey, here's a draft letter, or getting rid of Comey, or Jerome Powell, should we proceed? And a lot of the Republicans told him, no, you got to be careful. That could have serious repercussions. Don't do it. Now Trump coming out and saying, we weren't really going to do it. It's hard for me to know what Trump's saying when he talks out of both sides of his mouth. Did he show that letter to the Republicans and ask that question? If he did, don't say it's not true that he's thinking of doing it. Don't pretend that. If you're really not thinking of doing it, then why did you show the letter? Are you playing games here? What's going on? I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm going to answer Trump's question, because if he's going to ask the Republicans that question behind closed doors and we hear about it, don't you think I ought to be able to answer the question, Brian?
Yeah.
I think you ought to be able to, I think you ought to be able to answer the question too. You know, I mean, I'm by the way, a self-appointed Trump advisor. You know that, right? So I can do this now. Do I think we should fire Jerome Powell? Here's what I think you should do, Donald. I think you should abolish the criminal cartel known as the Federal Reserve. It's a criminal banking cartel. It's not one of the three branches of government. It pretends it's above politics, but it's a lie. It pretends that it's separate from government, so it has independence, but at the same time, they want you to believe it's part of government. Look, it's no more federal than Federal Express, people. It's bogus. Okay, look it up in the phone book. It's under government, okay? It's a lie. And don't, okay, if you're going to talk about fake news, Donald, let's get after it. Forget talking about little Jerome. Okay, talk about abolishing the con. By the way, if you want to talk about distractions and cons and hoaxes, this hoax has gone on since 1913. And these criminal bankers have robbed us blind to the point where we owe $1 trillion a year in interest to these clowns on fake money. Okay? Now, I know that's not very civil, but when these banking cartel people get together, you know, create a $100 bill for, I don't know how many cents, 10 cents, 5 cents, whatever it is now. And then they put a $100 bill on it. And then they want to charge you interest on top of that. It's flat out fraud. And I challenge anybody to debate me anywhere, anytime on this. It's flat out dishonest fraud. It's a banking criminal cartel that has funded wars and rumors of wars for over a century. Okay? So let's forget about little old Jerome and fighting with Jerome, and forget about the fact that he spent a couple of billion on his new digs. Shut down the digs, get rid of it, sell it off to the private sector, use the money to pay down the debt, and go ahead and shut down the Federal Reserve and return to constitutional currency. And the sooner you do that, Donald, the sooner you'll actually have the greatest economy the world has ever known, and it would actually not be fake news this time. Brian?
Yeah, I think you said it. Ben put it very well, Sam. Excuse me. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, it's the con is there, and it continues to be out of hand. And we're not. I mean, I can't even fathom the $1 trillion in interest. I mean, how do you don't recover? How do you recover from that? You don't. So amen to what you said.
Well, the only way you do it is just say they created the interest out of thin air. We're going to get rid of it out of thin air. And they created this debt out of fake money and dishonesty, and we're going to abolish it. We're going to call a halt to the con game. I know we can't arrest the criminals from 100 years ago, but we can certainly start fresh. We can certainly say we're going to have it's going to be a new day, and it's not going to be a CBDC. It's not going to be a central bank digital currency. It's going to be honest money, and we're going to do it now. And I think Trump could literally do that. Andrew Jackson did it, right?
Yeah.
He got rid of the bankers.
That's right.
So don't tell me it can't be done. It was done before. Go look at history if you don't believe me. And you say, well, Sam, wouldn't it take a while to change the economy? And yeah, there'd be some correction for sure. Would it be fun? Probably not. But could it be done? Could there be a plan put together to get it done, Brian, you think?
Yeah, I think it has to be done, really. I just think if we're going after all these things and trying to make things better, that's one. Then I'd jump on the IRS. That'd be two.
Well, what you would instantly do is you would have to say, okay, let's start to evaluate assets from an honest money perspective. So my house is worth when I bought it, it was worth $150,000, but that was in 2001. Now they say it's worth like $550,000 or some crazy thing. Brian's been to my house. It's not a fancy house. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not ungrateful for it. I'm just saying it's not a fancy house, though. And now it's worth $550,000 of fake money. But what you'd need to do is basically just do a correction. What would my house really be worth in terms of real money?
Right.
You'd have to create a ratio. What do you think that ratio would be right now, Bryan? Any idea?
Well, I don't know what the ratio would be basically, but it would bring. I think we'd see everything would. Well, isn't it a supply? You live within your means, and
that's right. It's a supply and demand. You started their discussion. That's right.
Right, and so at that point, and things come down to what the natural price should be. I mean, it would create itself.
They say that we've lost about, 35 to 40 times our currency value? We'll talk about it when we get back with Bryan Rust. FreeWaterCoinCo.com, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about honesty, shall we? Forget firing Jerome Powell. Shut the whole criminal enterprise down, Donald.
This is a battle between truth and deceit. A battle between forces that would enslave this country in darkness and between a media that wants to present you with the truth. We are being censored. America's news outlets no longer provide the truth. 90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in fact.
TheEpochTimes.com.
Looking for an IT partner that truly understands your needs? Managed IT Services is the answer. We meet with you regularly to discuss your goals and form a tailored technology plan. Our customers have called us a trusted advisor who delivers. When it comes to IT, we do it all. Firewalls, cloud storage, server migration, and more. Say goodbye to long-term contracts and hello to a team that earns your business month after month. Call 801-706-6980 now and let Managed IT Services transform your IT experience.
Scott Bradley here. Most Americans are painfully aware that the nation is on the wrong track and in dire straits. Unfortunately, most political pundits only nibble around the edges when they claim to address the issues. Even worse, many of the so-called solutions are simply rewarmed servings of what got us into the mess we currently face. And the politicians think we're so gullible and naive that we'll buy their lies that they have reformed and now understand where they led us astray. Unfortunately, the truth of the matter is that they simply wish to continue to hold power. The solution to America's challenges is found in returning to the timeless principles found in the United States Constitution. My book and lecture series will reawaken in Americans an understanding and love of the principles which made this nation the freest, most prosperous, happiest, and most respected nation on earth. Visit topreservethenation.com and order my book and lectures to begin the restoration of this great nation.
So it's very hard to know where you would peg the reality of the value of things, but I'm telling you right now, if you take gold at $33.25 and divide by $35, why would you do that? Well, $33.25 is what gold is now. You divide it by 35 because they pegged gold in the early 70s at $35 an ounce there for a while. That's 95 times overvalue. That's gold. If you take silver, though, you say a silver dollar used to be $1, now it costs about $40 to get one. That's 40 to 1. So let's just use 40 to 1 because it's a conservative number. If you take my house at $550,000, all right, 550,000 divided by 40. My house is worth about $13,750, Bryan.
There you go.
Now, you got to get some of the moral hazard out of the way because you wouldn't have the government manipulating interest rates. So that would start to become a supply and demand reality over time. You would basically then not have the blue sky because the government wouldn't be able to basically prop up the housing market and make everything cost so much because you wouldn't have 30-year mortgages anymore. Because the only people that can do 30-year mortgages are your government. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac lead the rule or the guideline. And then they basically put all these, mortgages into these big old collateral derivatives, whatevers. And I know a little more about it than I'm talking about. I just don't want to make it too complicated. But suffice it to say, hey, things had become reality in terms of what things would be based, right? Guess how much gas it costs, Bryan? You talk about it all the time. You know the answer. What would gas cost, Bryan?
Is it a quarter?
Yes, sir. Gas would start to cost a quarter again, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's right.
See?
You're correct.
And so that's kind of how I'm using these things is that, You could use the Big Mac index. You could use, what you could buy gold and silver things for right now. All you got to do is translate it, and it works. Yeah. And so we could literally bring things back. And so if Donald really is asking an honest question, is he trying to pull a clown show before Congress and before everybody and just throw around his weight and his power? Or is he really trying to honestly, bring America back and make America great again? I think we ought to make America metal again, Brian.
Yeah.
What do you think? Make America metal again? Just return to constitutional metal currency?
Sure.
Then we'd actually have freedom. And then we wouldn't be going to all these unconstitutional wars. We wouldn't have the government involved in education and everything else. Do you want to know why?
Money.
They broke. Right?
Money. That's
They'd just
right.
be broke. It would absolutely put a reality check on their spending. We wouldn't be debating if they could spend the money. It wouldn't be a debate anymore because they wouldn't have it. You couldn't spend what you don't have, right?
Correct.
So anyway, the new scam, ladies and gentlemen, is not the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. The new scam is the old scam, which is the new boss is the same as the old boss. I feel like I'm playing the Who now.
Well, Sam, it's debate, like you say, it's money. Everything's driven by money, isn't it?
All right, so I wrote a headline to describe what's going on in the economy now, and I want to get your take on this headline. I just popped this sucker into ChatGPT, gave it some guidance. It came up with a headline. I modified the headline. We went back and forth a few, and here's what we came up with, me and good old ChatGPT. Are you ready?
Yeah.
From $2 trillion ambition to $9 billion reality after Musk's Doge cuts falter. Congress scrambles to push rescissions bill. What do you say? I mean, Musk literally was talking about $2 trillion, and then he said it might even come up to $4 billion. Then he went, no, it's going to be $1 billion. And now we're battling to get $9 billion saved.
Yeah. I know.
After over 10 years agreeing to $5 trillion more in debt, then we're going to save $9 billion. Everybody's like, woohoo, this is incredible. Good for Donald. Good for Team Doge. Good for Team MAGA. Good for, and I'm going, I agree we got to start somewhere, and it's good. But is this seriously like the win? It's kind of like they say we're going to put 100 points on the board. And we're going to literally have what do they call that? A perfect game where the other team doesn't even score. And then like at the end of the game, man, we bury a 3-pointer and we got like 5 points on the board. And we're going, yeah, those guys only have 4. Woo-hoo, it's incredible. Look at what we've done, Brian. Man, how dare you talk about anything else from talking against all our successes and stuff. How dare you? What are you talking about? It's just like, oh my heavens, to Betsy, what is happening here?
That's great. I like it, Sam. I mean, that's a W, right? It's a
It's
W.
a win, buddy. Put that in the big old W column, and don't you dare talk about how it went down. The Senate has approved a bill cutting $9 billion from the public broadcasting and from foreign aid, including reductions to funds to what they call the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and global health initiatives like the WTO and USAID and all that kind of stuff. Man, they saved $9 billion. And I think that's a lot of money, Brian. I really do. But in the scheme of things that we're talking, I kind of have a hard time taking a victory lap, in all honesty. I mean, I'm grateful for it. Don't misunderstand me. Anything you can cut is a good thing. So I'm not downing the efforts, but I just feel like it's only right to put it into our listeners' ears in context. Does that make sense, or am I just being too negative?
No, it makes sense. I think when we look at this, it's obviously not an easy thing to do, simply because you have all these people in positions where they don't want to give up the money. And so when we talk about the big, beautiful bill, it's a beautiful, big bill. There's a lot of big money in it. And most of them back there, that's why I think get rid of all 500 back there and start over, because you've got all these people in place that don't want to give up the money. Bring me the money.
Well, if Donald just shut down the Fed and quit playing games and sold the building and anything else, those people wouldn't be able to debate about the money. They'd just be
Yeah.
You know,
that'd be great.
It would
That'd be
change the game, people.
That's
You know,
right.
so I just want to give Donald Trump advice, because if he really wants to go into the next election cycle with real news, not fake news at his back, start with abolishing the biggest con of all, the Fed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, if we had the Fed and honest money, would Jeffrey Epstein even been able to do what he did?
I don't think so.
It'd be pretty
you give
hard.
me some money, I'll get you a boat. You can come on over.
All right.
Got it
Anyway,
all over here.
I don't mean to just attack and belittle and mock. I realize running the government is really hard to do. And I realize that, hey, I'm kind of an armchair quarterback guy right now. And so I realize that the reality is a lot more difficult. It's like, hey, we need to step back and kind of walk in someone else's shoes for a little bit to kind of understand what it's like. And I get that it's complicated and hard. But I also get that it starts with honesty. It starts with accountability before God. You know, if you're really accountable before God, it doesn't matter what man thinks, Brian.
Right.
Isn't that really kind of a way to just force honesty at the top of the stack for discussion?
Yeah, that'd be a good one there. I mean, you look at all the waste. Money brings waste, because we can create this and we can create that, and we'll create this over here, and before you know it, you've created so many things with so many people that are involved and being paid. I mean, that's why people are protesting losing their job. Well, we're not happy about you losing your job, but there's a lot of waste, and we're trying to clean it up. But it's harder to deal with that because people don't want to give up what they have, and so or been given.
Now here's an interesting thing. I just got a headline. It's from The Blaze, so that's Glenn Beck and crew. Headline says J.D. Vance rekindling statesmanship to secure America's golden future. Does that mean he's moving back to gold, Brian?
Well, we're the golden age. My hair's starting to turn a little bit.
Brian's experiencing the golden age without everybody else even, man. Now, they call it the golden future, but I kind of really wonder, what does that mean, this golden future discussion? And the vice president has an op-ed that he put, and he said America's blessings did not appear by accident. It took vision, sacrifice, and the country's virtues. We must bring back to have a new golden age of citizenship. I support that, but I guess I want a golden age that's like real, like not just a figurative golden age, Brian, or a golden age feeling like it's golden age. I mean, I want one of them real golden ages, buddy, where I take the medal home. Isn't that what you teach, Brian? Isn't that what we need?
Yeah.
Come on, JD, let's get real, buddy. I mean, I support you, bro. Golden future, man. So if there's gold in our future, it starts with firing Jerome Powell, shutting down the Federal Reserve, and moving back to constitutional currency. And other states have already led the way, like Utah and many other states, and they're making constitutional currency, gold and silver, legal tender and everything. They're already setting the stage for Donald to get it done. The states are providing incredible leadership right now, Brian.
Yeah, they're trying to move forward. I mean, Utah's been, there's been people that have been paying and that in wages and other things in gold or in silver. Yeah.
All right. There you have it. I guess Trump is becoming the war president. I'll have to talk about that next hour, Brian. Sad but true. I pray we can stop this. The biggest way I know that we can stop the wars and stop Donald from being a war president is chain him down with the Constitution, Brian.
Amen.
Should we just chain him down, buddy?
Amen.
All right. Thank you, Bryan Rust.
Hey, thank you, Sam.
There he goes, Bryan Rust, freewatercoinco.com, doing a phenomenal job helping you understand precious metals. I'm telling you, you want guidance and support and love and getting that done? Yeah. God save our republic.